Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here, welcoming you to one of those weekly trophy list updates. Today's date is Tuesday, February 11th of 2025. So, I know that I moved this around a little bit because I mentioned on Twitter I might be changing up the formula just a little bit with it, which is why I'm now calling it something along the lines of Trophy Talk Tuesday or something like that. I don't know what the final name is going to be, but I'm thinking something like that. And I would think that with the alliteration, I don't know, maybe it pulls in a few extra views or something. I have no idea. Maybe we'll give it a try for a week or two and just see what happens. So this video will cover the week and a day of February the 3rd through the 10th of 2025. And this was a very productive week overall. I am definitely happy with progress made. So let's start out with a double platinum that I got at the beginning of the week. It is an Artifacts Monday game by the name of Family Mysteries 3 Criminal Mindset. It has been a very, very long time, like nearly 100 platinum since I've done an Artifacts Monday game. And I don't really mind these games. They're actually generally pretty good quality, even though they all play extremely similarly. They're hidden object puzzle type of games. And their trophy lists have traditionally always been on the easy side. They were one of the first sort of developers to do a lot of easier trophies, but without resorting to it being like shovelware quality type. So anyways, with this Platinum trophy, you have to find all the collectibles in the game. I think there's 29 total. It's something like maybe 15 of the morphing items and 14 of the like doll things or whatever they are, figurines. So find all 29 collectibles to get these first 4 trophies. These trophies are always highly missable in these games because you can only go back a set number of screens at a time, so you do probably want to follow a collectible guide just to make sure you don't have to replay the game because there's no chapter select in these games. Then you have your hidden object puzzle trophies, which are pretty typical for what we see nowadays from Artifacts Monday games. So you have to complete a hidden object puzzle without a hint, and you have to finish 3 of them without a hint. So once you finish 3 of them, you can start using hints on them all you want. Though, since you'll be playing on the casual difficulty, you can literally just spam click around the screen and just like click on everything with no punishment. Finding 3 hidden objects within 3 seconds, again, just spam click across the screen and you should be good to go on this one. Same with this one, just completing one in less than a minute. If you are a little bit concerned about this one, feel free to quit out of the game and back up your save to the cloud, so if you screw up, you can always re-download the save. You do have to finish a hidden object puzzle without a mistake, but as far as I can tell, most, if not all, of the hidden object puzzles in this particular game are the same every time you play through them, so they're the same in the guides as they are every time when you play through, so you can just watch a guide as to where everything is and you should be good to go on this. But once again, back up your save first just in case you feel that you might be making a mistake or something, and you should be good to go. Then finish 3 hidden object puzzles in less than 10 minutes. I still don't fully understand this type of trophy nowadays because it's a newer type, but I'm pretty sure now that it only counts the time spent in the actual minigames, because I'm pretty sure it took me well over 10 minutes to finish 3 of these, like if you also count all the other gameplay stuff, and yet I still got the trophy. So I suspect that it's probably more along the lines of just 10 minutes total within the minigames themselves, not counting all the time in between. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me on that, but that's what I think happens with this. Then you have to finish a few minigame trophies, so you have to complete a minigame in less than a minute. This one's basically unmissable because there's a bunch of really easy ones in this game that can be done in under a minute. Finish 5 minigames without skipping them is pretty self-explanatory. Just finish the first 5 without skipping and you'll have this one done pretty quickly. So interestingly, this is one of the Artifacts Monday games that you don't actually have to complete the entire game, because all the story minigames are done by the time you deal with the mutant guy, like maybe 2/3 of the way through the game. That's not going to make any sense to people who haven't played this one, but I think that's about where you get the final of the story minigame trophy, so as long as you finish this one, from that point on, you can skip all the minigames and you're good to go, so that's actually pretty nice if you just want to really speedrun the game. And then all of these other trophies are story-related and unmissable. So this is the last story trophy you'll get, but it's well before the end of the main story. It's like a solid 10 minutes probably before the end of the main story, or maybe only like 5 minutes, but it's near the very end of the game, but you don't actually have to fully complete the game or complete the bonus chapter. We haven't had to do the bonus chapter in years, for that matter. And then the PS5 version is the exact same trophy list. I think it's a rare platinum. But yeah, I did both of these games together. It was a solid time. Again, I have no problem with Artifacts Monday games. I do them very occasionally just to have some fun with them. Yeah, so not much more else to say about that. Pretty quick, easy platinum. You can get it in 2 to 3 hours per version if you're following a guide. If you don't follow a guide, some of the puzzles on this particular one apparently trip up a lot of people from what I was looking at in the guide. Like, a lot of people were commenting saying that they were pretty tripped up on several of the puzzles. There's also a slide puzzle in it that is randomized every time, and that's like my worst type of puzzle. So that was not the best situation for me because I'm terrible at those kind of puzzles, but that's more of a me thing than the game. So before we talk about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, because I got a few things I want to say about this. Sly 2 Band of Thieves. So I started off the Sly 2 PS5 version. So this is the new trophy lists on both PS4 and PS5. Because I'm going to make these into a video, at least the PS5 version. So platinuming all the PS5 Sly Cooper games and playing through it live on streams. This game is a blast to go back to. I started with Sly 2 specifically because it was the first Sly game I ever played, so I have the most, I guess, nostalgia for it compared to the first or third ones. And it's probably my favorite Sly game, actually. I know that that might not be the most popular opinion out there, but I would say overall it's probably my personal favorite one. I also suspect that it has the easiest platinum trophy of the three because it's mostly just completion based and no like Master Thief sprints like the first Sly game or challenges like Sly 3. So I suspect that it's probably the easiest one, so might as well start with the easiest one to get back into the Sly Cooper mood. So with this game, you have to complete all jobs and open the vault in each episode. Is there even a vault in episode 8? Oh, there is a vault in episode 8, okay. So that's the first, 16 trophies in the game, is just finish each episode, finish all the jobs in it, so that's just the story missions. There's 5 to 10 of them per episode or something like that. As well as open the vault, which requires you to find all 30 clue bottles scattered around the level. Most of them are pretty easy to find. Haven't needed a guide or anything yet, but probably could save you just a little bit of time if you get a little bit stuck on it. But I'm currently on episode 4. I think I found all of the bottles so far, but just not the vault yet. And I'm maybe a third of the way through the story for that episode, so making progress on it. And then just the remaining episodes. I think that this is the one, I don't remember what episode 5 is, but I think one of these is in Siberia or something. It's kind of weird. And then there's another one that's maybe a little bit stranger. I don't really remember. It's been a long time though since I played the game. I remember the final world though is pretty unique because it's up on a giant airship platform or something. So then you also have 1 to 2 miscellaneous trophies per chapter. So this one you do within a specific mission, and I think you can still go in there even if you don't do it during the mission, so it's not a big deal. And then the 10 cash briefcases, you can just hit all the ones that are laying out in the streets during the open world portion, so that's very easy. This one you can't do until at least episode 6, because in episode 6 you get his hover pack, which you need to be able to, I guess, hover up to wherever this high ledge is. And then this one was a little bit tougher to do just because I couldn't really... You can't jump when you're carrying a guard, so it took me a little while to get a guard thrown all the way into there and then just walking in the exact correct position outside of the safe house to get it to work, but it wasn't too bad. Then the 10 unique cash briefcases. This one there's 3 different stashes you have to hit that are all inside of the mountain or whatever you want to call it, or the temple, whatever part of it is. So you might need to check a guide for this one. I needed to double check it for one of the sets of collectibles or cash briefcases. And then this one's very easy. Once you finish the episode or get close to the end of it, you'll have access to a tower turret. And you can just use it to kill 3 guards. Nothing to worry about with that. Only 1 miscellaneous trophy in episode 4, but I don't have the health extractor unlocked yet. Then I don't know what this is. This one looks fairly simple, but I assume it's fairly simple. Then you have 2 for episode 6. Again, I don't necessarily know too much about what to do for these, but I'll definitely be... I would think I'd be able to get them probably first try or maybe second try, especially with the rewind feature, because that's the big thing about this game, is that you have the rewind feature now, which means that if you screw up somewhere, you won't be having to replay entire missions because of a minor screw up somewhere. You can just go back a second or 2 and you're going to be good to go, which is definitely going to make things easier. And those both look fairly easy. So then we have our 3 character-specific trophies. So already defeated enemies with the Fist of Flame as Murray. That's pretty easy. This one, I don't know exactly where to do it from. And this one, I think I'm just going to have to go back to the Paris level when the enemies are more spread out and easier to loot and more of them have actual pieces of loot in them. So yeah, nothing too difficult with these as far as I can tell, unless this one ends up being kind of challenging. But yeah, just three character-specific trophies, so nothing much to worry about there. And then you have to obtain all the power-ups, which I'm assuming means to purchase everything from ThiefNet, which I feel like I've had more than enough money this time around. Maybe that was just a skill issue when I was younger and first played this game. But I feel like I have more than enough money to buy like everything super quickly, so I'm not too worried about this. This appears to be the most difficult trophy in the game just because it's kind of random, because the loot is the things that you get when the guards have a shiny back pocket, and when you pull all the coins out of it, you'll then be able to pull out a piece of loot, so it can be like a comb or a pen or a ring or metal, and it's usually like bronze, silver, and gold levels. I don't know exactly how many different items there are. I'm assuming it's more than 50, but there might not be a lot of room for error, and I also don't know if the ones that you pick up in the open world and then carry back that explode if you don't get them back fast enough. I assume those also count toward this, but I'm not 100% sure. So I've been making progress with that, though. I'm sure I've sold at least 15 different pieces of loot at this point, so definitely making some progress. But still got a good ways to go with this game, so probably at least like another 2 to 3 streams just to finish the story and all of the jobs and all of the clue bottles and all of the vaults, and then maybe like one more stream after that to clean up the miscellaneous stuff or something. So it shouldn't be a super long series for Sly 2, and then we'll go to Sly 1, which I think is the shortest one. I know it's got those really obnoxious Master Thief challenges, but with the rewind feature, I'm sure they won't be as bad. And then, aside from that, Sly 3, I don't know how that one's going to stand up because the challenges, I remember, were kind of a pain in the butt, but with the rewind feature, I'm assuming they're not going to be as bad. So, yeah, making progress on Sly 2, and then we'll do Sly 1, then Sly 3, and hopefully make a video out of it. And now, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I got a couple things I want to say about this game that are not in the most positive way. Like I've mentioned before, I really don't like this game. I was hoping it was going to be reasonably fun because I like the Borderlands franchise. This game is not good. This is just a really, really bad excuse for a Borderlands game. The story isn't really intriguing this time. The characters have, like, no real interest to them whatsoever. The environments are fine and the gameplay is pretty much fine because it's normal Borderlands. But at the same time, it just drags on for absolutely forever. Like, for no reason, this game just drags on like crazy. Every side mission takes, outside of a few of them, every side mission takes like 30 plus minutes, or like 20 to 40 minutes realistically, which is kind of ridiculous because the story's pretty short. There's only about 10 or 11 story missions, and most of those take less than half an hour, so the story's pretty quick. But there's 48 side missions, and they each take that long, so feel free to do the math on that. So as always, you have to level up, which you always do in Borderlands games. 40 is the maximum level in this game, and you'll get to that by the time you finish all of the side quests and everything, so don't worry about it. Then we get story trophies. I believe you get one story trophy for each story chapter. This is the final one in the main story, so nothing much to worry about those. Unmissable story trophies. Then there are four side mission specific trophies. So 4 side mission specific trophies. These are just, one specific longer side mission each. Each of these are like 45 freaking minutes long, which is really dumb. But I mean, at least you get a trophy for each of those, so at least they give you something for it. And then you have to complete all 48 side quests. However, this trophy is actually bugged in a positive way. It tends to pop at 46 or 47 completions. So you'll probably get the chance to skip 1 or 2 side missions, which is, it's something. It saves, 20 to 40 minutes, so it's something. It's a small mercy. One of our 2 multiplayer trophies is to revive a partner, but you can easily do this with a second controller, so don't worry about that. This one, Death Save, is the Fight for Your Life mode from previous games. You will probably get this one naturally just by playing the game, but if you don't, just go to any boss or badass and let them down you and just kill them when they're at low health. While you're in the Death Save animation, you should be fine. Then this one, I just picked up at some point. I guess it was just an orange or just a legendary item in the wild somewhere. I just found it randomly, so it popped right there. You have to get 1,000,000 gold, which is really not that bad because you're going to need something like 300 million gold for purchasing all the inventory upgrades. Now, apparently there are ways to not only farm this, but also like a duplication glitch or something to make your money really, really quickly. So apparently it's not as bad as it could be. But thankfully, I had a friend, Robbie, who's in the chats a lot of the time. He was able to just give me some of the money that I needed, or all the money I needed. I don't know why I said some. He gave me all the money I needed, so I was just able to purchase all the upgrades with that. I had purchased a fair number of them prior to that, but definitely nowhere near all the upgrades being done. This is just a ridiculously grindy trophy, and I don't know why they would have put this in. I mean, yeah, they give you the glitch method apparently, but it's just ridiculous they would put this in the first place. And along with that, trade with another player. You can do that online or with a second controller. Nothing to worry about with that. There's surprisingly no dueling trophy in this game, actually. I just realized that. Then pick up and redeem a cosmetic item. These things drop constantly. You're going to have no problem with this. The 3,000 total loot luck. This one actually auto-popped when I joined his game because he had over 3,000. But I ended up on my main character having over 3,000, so I would have gotten it naturally by the time I finished all the DLCs. So don't worry too much about it. It might be a little bit of a grind, but it shouldn't be too much of one, compared to the money at least. Pick up a lore scroll. There's like 50 of these found throughout the world. This is probably one of the first trophies you're going to get. This one, you can enchant items by using a thing with the blacksmith, which is where you purchase the weapon and ammo upgrades. Then every dungeon door, there's like only 7 of them that specifically count for this for some reason, but they're all pretty easy. Then this one, if an enemy starts chasing you, I think you just press square to get this one pretty easily. Then the 10 encampments, these are the little campfire encampment areas, and just clear out any 10 of them. They constantly respawn, so nothing to worry about that. No missable trophies either, thankfully, in this game, so it's not one of the Borderlands that has actual missable trophies to worry about like the pre-sequel did. Then we have Chaos Chamber, and I got a little something I want to say about this mode. Finishing a single Chaos Chamber is fine. That is not an issue. That's something you get at the end of the game. Just finishing a single run of it is not difficult. It doesn't take too long to finish a single run. You'll be doing it, like Chaos Level 1, so it's not really even much of a challenge. Or that one actually might have popped before you unlock Chaos levels. But then, you have to reach Chaos Level 20, and the problem with this particular trophy is that when the game first came out, apparently, according to like Drez and a few other people in the chat, when the game first came out, every time you completed a Chaos Chamber run, which took like a solid 20 to 30 minutes per run, or sometimes even longer on higher levels, you had to complete this 20 times to get to Chaos Level 20 because you only went up one level at a time. Now, thankfully, they mercifully patched the game at some point to where you complete your initial tutorial run, then you complete one run to get to level 1, then your next run takes you to level 6, your 4th run takes you to 11, your 5th run takes you to 16, and your 6th run takes you to 20. So you only have to finish it 6 times, which is very good because, I mean, having to run through this thing 20 times would have just about broken me, honestly. And it's certainly something I wouldn't have been able to do on the live stream when I got this platinum. But the insane thing was, when I went for the Chaos Level 20, so I was on my level like 15 or 16 Chaos Level run, it's fine up until the final battle, but I have never seen such an overly, ridiculously bullet-spongy enemy in my life in a Borderlands game. Because it gave me the final boss of the main story, which is totally fine because none of the bosses were that bad up to this point. But this dude had literally about 3 trillion health points. So, and like 5 health bars in 5 different phases. And even the chat was just looking at it like, dude, we've never seen this happen before. We've never seen, or we might have seen this boss before, but we've never seen him have this insane level of health. So, look at the time difference here. So, it took me, let me do some math here. So, that's going to be 1 hour and 20 minutes to do my last 2 runs. I'm assuming that my next to last run was about 20 to 25 minutes. So, it took me a solid hour to do the final run. Or actually, no, wait, that math's not even correct at all. I'm dumb. It took me 2 hours and 20 minutes to finish that. So, probably 30 minutes for the first run, and then like an hour and 45 minutes for the final run because the final boss was just so insane. I still don't understand that. I don't know why the game decided to screw me over like that and give me like the hardest possible boss fight for Chaos Level that low. So, again, no one in the chat had ever seen a boss with that insane amount of health, so of course that's just my luck playing the game. But to my credit, I actually did manage to beat it after like an hour. It was insane because I died on that boss 2 different times, and he just, he wouldn't die. He just had just an insane amount of health, and like he couldn't kill me that quickly. He just had just ridiculous amounts of health. So yeah, that was a very horrible experience that was absolutely miserable, and has made me not ever want to play another Borderlands game again. I'm sure I'll rescind that if Borderlands 4 actually comes out and it's actually good, but in all honesty, I'm kind of concerned because this game was so awful, mid to awful in all honesty, so I'm really not sure if I'm looking forward to Borderlands 4, and even if I do go back on that and actually do play it, it definitely won't be anywhere near release date, that's for sure. Now, as for the DLCs, these are thankfully potentially fairly easy, because with these, you can reset the chaos level entirely after finishing the game, so that means that you can play these on sort of the lowest difficulty. Well, the lowest base game difficulty, but then you also have difficulty levels for the actual bosses. So with the bosses, you have to finish 4 runs of each DLC to get to the final level. So 3 runs at levels 1 through 3 of difficulty, and then a 4th run on level 4 of difficulty. That's where you get the second trophy in each DLC. So I did have one trophy bug out on me, that being this particular one, because I was able to go into Drez's game because he already had level 4 unlocked on all these, so we were able to save, a ton of time from that right before the PSN outage happened. So thankfully for him being there, we were able to save a lot of time. But then with the final bosses, this one, we got the level 4 trophy, but we didn't get the first trophy, so I'll tell you what I had to do for that later. But Chums, this one wasn't too hard. We didn't have too many problems with this boss. Then Glutton's Gamble, this one wasn't too bad either because, well, this one I ended up having... Actually, that was actually a story for the other version, the Autopop version, but I'll get to that in a second. That one wasn't too bad either. This boss is kind of insane in all honesty. Like, this one was probably the hardest of the 4 from what I could tell. This one wasn't too bad though. So yeah, just finish all of the boss fights, and if you have another person that you can go into their world that already has level 4 unlocked, you can simply play level 4 one time and get all the trophies. Now, this trophy did not unlock from that, so what we had to do for this was when it didn't work that time, we replayed it. It didn't work the second time, so we both quit out of the game, and then we loaded into my save file and played round 1 of it, or level 1 of it, which was super, super easy. And then it popped, so I have no idea what that was about. But as you can see, it only took us a little over an hour to get through all the DLCs with that method, so thank God for Drez and Robbie being there and just making my life so much easier with this god-awful excuse for a Borderlands game. But I'm not actually done complaining about this one, because now we have the PS5 version. So most of the trophies auto-pop. Not all of them, but most of them do, which is really that is something I'm very thankful for. So if you do everything correctly, all the level trophies should auto-pop, all of the story mission trophies should auto-pop, and then this side mission trophy auto-popped, but these 3 didn't. For some reason, I have no idea why that was. But then the side quest trophies auto-popped, and the all side quest trophy is known not always to auto-pop for people, so I'm very thankful that it did, because that was probably the most time-consuming trophy in the game overall. Then reviving a partner, that auto-popped. Like, all these other trophies, no, it was just these 3 trophies all auto-popped. And then this one didn't, so the money one, I think what you can do is transfer the money to another character and then have that character transfer the money, or what you might be able to do is like have your main character with all the money be the second player in a game with a new character, because you are going to have to start a new character for a few of these trophies, mainly the side quest ones. And then I think if they trade you the money, you can get this one. But I had so much stuff in the lost loot container that I got like $250,000 or gold like right off the bat in this file, so it wasn't a problem. Then all of these auto-popped, specifically looking at the purchasing inventory upgrades. Thank God all of those auto-popped, so you don't have to deal with those again. The loot luck, that one didn't auto-pop, so I might just try to join into someone else's world for this one, just to save time on that, unless I can just join into a game with my main character being the second character, and that somehow works. I'm not sure yet if that's going to work, but we'll see what happens. And then all of these trophies all auto-pop. Thank God all the Chaos Chamber stuff auto-popped. And then here's where things got really weird. The DLC highest difficulty trophies all auto-popped. So all the highest difficulty stuff auto-popped, but none of the lower difficulty, like level 1 trophies auto-popped, and I don't know why that was. I still don't understand where the logic was in that, like why would the high difficulty trophy auto-pop but not the lower difficulty? I'm not complaining because I'd much rather replay level 1 than have to replay level 4 or something and fight through it. But it didn't make a lot of sense, so it was one of the most bizarre auto-pops we've gotten. I mean, Borderlands 3 had problems with auto-popping, Resident Evil 7 has severe problems with auto-popping, and it like auto-pops random trophies for every person that plays the game, which is just really stupid. So yeah, I don't know what that was about, but most of it auto-popped, so all I have left to do is the 3,000 loot luck, the 1,000,000 gold, and those 3 specific side missions, and I will have another Borderlands Platinum done. That'll be all of the non-VR Borderlands games Platinum, aside from, you know, new Tales from Borderlands, which doesn't really count, and the Japanese version of Borderlands 1 because it's unobtainable. So yeah, that was a lot of stuff to talk about there and a lot of ranting to do, so let's go ahead and sync up trophies. Okay, level 888, 75%, 29,833 total trophies, 855 platinums, 5,707 golds, 8,022 silvers, 15,249 bronzes. So, plans for the upcoming week. Still a few things I want to mention here. So, the Fallout 4 video is done. It went up on Sunday. I still think it's one of the best videos I've ever put together, even though it seems to be really not performing that well so far, and I don't know if that was because I uploaded it on Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe should have considered doing that a different day or something. Or it's just YouTube being typical YouTube and refusing to give me any sort of pushing through the algorithm when it'll push literally every other trophy achievement YouTuber out there. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, please go check it out. I put a lot of work into it. I'm really happy with how it came out. It was a lot of fun to put together. It was a lot of fun for a playthrough. So aside from that, this coming week, I'm going to start working on the Thrillville video. It's going to be one video for both Platinums. I already know what I'm going to say for all of it, so I'm starting to write the script and everything. So that one shouldn't take anywhere near as long for me to finish, just because it was only 3 total streams. And then after that is Astro's Playroom, which is only 2 streams. So the next couple should come out a lot faster. And then there's stuff like Astrobot, Black Ops 6... Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, the failed speedrun for Bluey, the successful speedrun for Clock Tower, and maybe 1 or 2 other things that I have stored away, and then it'll be the Sly games at some point on PS5. In terms of games that I plan to play this week, the main one will be Sly 2, as well as hopefully finishing off Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I will probably also start working on at least the PS4 version of Sly 2, because I still want to do the PS4 versions of the games, because I've done every Sly Cooper list up to this point, aside from these new stacks, so I definitely want to go ahead and do all of the other ones, because I even finished Bentley's Hack Pack a few months ago. Additionally, I want to give a quick shout out to, the name is Cold Hard Crash on PSN Profiles. He won Guide of the Year this year with his Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus Mayan Leben guide. I knew the second that got nominated in the same category as the one guide that got nominated on my end. I knew almost instantly that guide was going to win Guide of the Year. Like, there was no way that wasn't, because it's very well put together. And it also means that I no longer have any excuse to not go for that as my 1,000th platinum, so maybe I shouldn't be super happy for him, because now I don't have any excuse for it. But congratulations to him. That was an awesome accomplishment, because I think he's a new author, or a fairly unknown author. Definitely hasn't been around. At least I don't recognize his name, at least, so... Okay, strike that. He's written like 6 or 7 guides, so he's not entirely, like, new to the website or anything, but... Yeah, that was pretty cool, but like I knew the second that got nominated that was going to win the whole thing. But anyways, like I said, just work on Sly 2, probably both versions of it, continue streaming the PS5 version, work through the rest of Tiny Tina, maybe get the Platinum done this week, hopefully get the Platinum done this week, if not it'll be done the week after, start editing the Thrillville video. I don't think it'll take anywhere near as long to put together. Aside from all of that... I think the only other thing is that we get Power Wash DLC, but that's not until March, so we have a little bit of time for that. And aside from that, there's not really much more else to say in what I'm going to be playing. I don't know what the schedule is going to be like for this next week or two, though, because I might be headed home this weekend and taking care of some stuff back home, and I might not be available as much next week either. So I don't know yet what our schedule is going to look like for the next week and a half to 2 weeks. I'll still try to do some streaming, but I can't guarantee that things will be exactly on the normal days or anything like that, so we'll just have to see what happens. So thank everyone for patience for all of that. Hopefully I'll still be streaming a fair bit, but not making any guarantees on that. I know it's crazy. This year's actually been quite busy so far with all sorts of stuff, so, I mean, kind of interfering with some of this streaming and everything, but hopefully we get back to a pretty normal schedule sometime soon. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go and leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't done so already. Let me know down in the comments what you were working on this past week. Let me know if you like the new name for this trophy update. And definitely go check out the Fallout 4 video. I'm still very proud of it. Would love to get that to get more support. And I will see y'all later this week for some more content.